Imagine walking into a fire with a gasoline jacket on. That's what most of you are doing with your money. You're leasing a car that costs more than your self-worth, swiping your credit card to buy a couch you'll be paying off longer than your last relationship, and you're out here acting like debt is a lifestyle flex. Let me ask you something brutal. If your paycheck didn't land this Friday, how long until your entire life collapses? A week? 3 days? 6 hours and a bag of Doritos? You say, I'm just trying to survive out here. But your $6 latte and Amazon boxes say you're auditioning for a Netflix documentary called Broke But Bougie. Here's the truth most gurus won't tell you. You're not broke because of the system. You're broke because you suck with money. And if that offended you, good. Because today, I'm about to rip apart everything you think you know about money. This is your wake-up call, and it comes with a sledgehammer. Today, we're diving deep. And I mean Debt Snowball to the face deep into a legendary personal finance book, The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. Dave isn't some Wall Street suit who inherited daddy's millions and calls it hustle. He's a man who built a real estate empire in his 20s and then lost it all because he believed the same lies you believe. Debt is a tool. You need a credit score to survive. Student loans are an investment. Then he got mad, real mad. Like bankruptcy and barely breathing mad. And instead of sitting in a puddle of his own financial stupidity, he created a step-by-step plan that pulled him and millions of others out of the financial sewer. He's now the voice behind The Ramsey Show, reaching over 18 million people every week. But more importantly, he's the architect of a plan that actually works, not for trust fund babies, but for normal people. The broke, the scared, the paycheck to pizza crowd. Now before we break this thing down, a quick disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes under the Fair Use Act. We are not replacing the book. We're transforming its ideas by adding commentary, hard truths, and real-world context you probably don't want but desperately need. So if you're a keyboard warrior with a PhD in excuses, you're going to hate this. But if you're finally ready to face the financial mess you've been blaming on everything but your own behavior, keep watching. Welcome to Mindful Reads Hub. Let's get started. Burn the budget, build a life. Let's get something straight. If you think the answer to your broke life is hidden in some high-yield savings account or an investing app with a cartoon bear mascot, you're already losing. You've got people out here trying to manifest financial peace by lighting a sage stick while their rent's 3 months behind. Let me tell you something that your bank account's been screaming for years. This isn't about tools, tips, or tactics. It's about you, your habits, your excuses, your ability to lie to yourself so convincingly that even your grandma would be impressed. Because that's what you've built your financial plan on, haven't you? A pile of motivational garbage wrapped in Instagram quotes and budgeting apps you open once a month when the guilt hits harder than your overdraft fees. But here's what Dave Ramsey figured out the hard way, and what you're about to learn in the most painful, necessary way possible. You don't need a better bank. You need a better brain. This isn't a book about how to trick the stock market. It's a book about gut punching your way out of financial idiocy. Dave didn't write this because he found some secret formula or cracked the rich people cheat code. He wrote this after getting obliterated, losing everything, hitting rock bottom, and realizing the only thing worse than being broke was pretending he wasn't. And guess what? You're probably pretending too. You're pretending you've got it under control, that the car payment, the student loans, the Target runs, the daily $9 dopamine hit from Starbucks, they're just part of adulting. You're pretending that your budget is flexible, which is code for completely ignored, and you're absolutely convinced that next month will be better. You know, when that mystery paycheck falls from the sky and all your problems vanish like your self-control on Amazon Prime Day, stop. The only person you're fooling is yourself, and maybe your dog, and definitely your broke friends who are cheering you on with phrases like, you only live once, and treat yourself. Treat yourself? You've been treating yourself into financial diabetes for years. It's time to detox. Here's what Dave wants you to understand. This book is not sophisticated, and that's exactly why it works. Because personal finance isn't about knowing what to do. It's about doing it. And most of you can't even commit to drinking enough water each day, let alone building wealth. You want complexity because it gives you a shield. You want 10-step plans and fancy terms so you can say, I'm still learning, instead of facing the reality that you're a grown adult who can't say no to Uber Eats at 1 a.m. The finance world wants you confused. The experts want you lost. Why? Because confused people buy things they don't need. Confused people sign up for loans, credit cards, and 12-month payment plans for furniture that will be broken before it's even paid off. But guess what? You don't need another lesson in compound interest. You need a lesson in self-respect. This makeover starts by deleting the lies, like permanently, because they're killing you. The myth that debt is just a part of life? Lie. The myth that you need credit to succeed? Lie. The myth that you're not doing that bad compared to your friends? Lie. The myth that wealth is about looking rich instead of actually being rich? Straight up financial catfishing. Let me ask you something. If your life got hit by a financial storm right now, like today, how long would your house stay standing? The honest answer for most people is not long. That's because you've built your finances on twigs and straw. Everything you own, everything you think you've earned is propped up by borrowed money and denial. You think your house is made of bricks? Nah, bro. It's made of bad decisions and monthly payments. Remember this, a turkey can fly in a tornado, but it's still a damn turkey. That's you. You're out here flapping your financial wings thinking you're killing it, but you've just been riding an economic breeze that's about to drop you face first into reality. See, the truth is brutal, but the truth also works. The truth is that when the storm comes, and it always comes, people with financial discipline become spectators, not victims. Dave Ramsey didn't just survive a financial collapse, he rebuilt stronger, and then taught others to do the same. Not with flashy tricks, but with ancient wisdom, grandma-level wisdom, the kind that says, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. Revolutionary, I know. The market will crash again. Your job could disappear tomorrow. The economy will get rocky. Politicians will continue to be useless. These are certainties. But if you build your life on something real, a solid financial foundation, it won't matter because your money won't be in someone else's pocket. But first, you have to burn the budget. Not the act of budgeting, but the illusion that having a spreadsheet makes you responsible. It doesn't. Discipline makes you responsible. Action makes you responsible. Saying no makes you powerful. You don't need a new method. You need a new mindset. That's what this book is. That's what this plan is. A system that only works if you do. But if you do, if you follow it like your life depends on it, because spoiler alert, it does, you'll be free. Not just paying your bills, free. I'm talking debt-free, wealthy, sleep at night, buy your kids college in cash, never stress again kind of free. So are you going to keep pretending, keep borrowing, keep playing the game that everyone else is losing? Or are you finally ready to burn the lies, punch your budget in the face, and take your damn life back? Because no one's coming to save you, no one's handing you wealth. And if you think some politician, guru, or app is going to fix your finances, you're still stuck in fairy tale mode. But if you're willing to change, if you're willing to suffer now to win later, you can start something today that changes your entire family tree forever. Key takeaway: stop trying to budget better and start changing who you are. Budgeting won't work if your behavior is trash. This isn't about spreadsheets. It's about calling yourself out, deleting the myths, and rebuilding your entire belief system around money from the ground up. It's not about the numbers. It's about you. Favorite quote: common sense isn't that common anymore. The truth hurts, but it also heals. If you're standing in a pile of financial rubble, holding a Starbucks cup and wondering how life got so hard, let me save you some time. It's not the economy. It's not your boss. It's not your ex. It's you. You're not confused. You're in denial. You keep pretending your situation is normal. And you're right. It is normal. But guess what? Normal is broke. Normal is drowning in debt. Normal is paycheck to paycheck with a side of panic every 1st and 15th. If that's the club you want to stay in, congrats. Your membership is permanent, but if you're even thinking about change, then you've got to stop being the financial equivalent of a toddler in a candy aisle screaming, "I want it," at your Visa card. The very first transformation, the real kind, not the Fantasyland TikTok version, doesn't start with budgeting apps or side hustles. It starts when you finally admit you've screwed it up, when you quit flexing with money you don't have and face the mirror long enough to say, "I'm the problem." And if that sentence stung, good. Pain is useful, it's a warning light. And for most of you, your financial dashboard has been flashing red for years. You've ignored the bills, rationalized the car note, and told yourself a raise would fix it all. But deep down, you knew. You knew you were one unexpected layoff away from losing everything. You knew that if the paycheck stopped tomorrow, so would your illusion of control. But denial feels better than truth, doesn't it? Truth is sharp. Truth demands action. Denial lets you feel smart while staying broke, and you've got the best excuses, don't you? I make decent money. It's not that bad. Everyone has debt. That last one? That's the favorite line of broke people pretending to be middle class. You don't get a gold star for having company in your dysfunction. Dave Ramsey was broke too, not pretend broke, bankrupt broke. Millionaire by 26, arrogant and leveraged to the hilt, and then boom, face first into rock bottom. Foreclosure, lawsuit, bankruptcy, and the kind of shame that doesn't show up on your FICO score. And instead of blaming the market, his lenders, or his dog, he looked in the mirror and said, "Never again. That's your move now. You don't have to wait for your world to collapse to get honest. But if you keep doing what you're doing, it will. Maybe not today, maybe not next month, but it's coming. The moment when the late notices stack up and your spouse looks at you with panic in their eyes because you were supposed to be the adult. You want to start winning? Then stop being offended by discomfort and get offended by mediocrity. That moment when you open your bills and feel dread crawl up your spine, that is the moment to act. That's the financial ulcer you've earned with every minimum payment and impulse buy. You say you're responsible. Prove it. If you were 100% responsible for your mess, then guess what? You're 100% capable of fixing it. But it starts with owning it. All of it. Not halfway. Not kinda sorta. Not my partner spends too much. Not I didn't learn this stuff growing up. Nah. This is you. You bought the crap. You signed the loans, you spent more than you made, and now you're here, tired, angry, anxious, and slowly realizing that adulting without a plan is just a long, expensive panic attack. You know what's wild? Most people have no clue how much they owe. They avoid the numbers like it's some haunted house that will whisper back all their shame, and that's exactly why they stay stuck. Because it's easier to feel guilty than to feel focused. But focused people win. They stare the chaos down, write the numbers out, and build a freaking plan like their lives depend on it. Because they do. Let's be real. Being broke isn't just about money. It's about how you feel waking up. It's about how you snap at your kids because you're scared and ashamed. It's about how you lay in bed at night doing math in your head and praying to a God you haven't talked to since the last emergency. Money problems don't stay in your wallet. They infect your marriage, your health, your sleep, your dreams. So if you think this makeover is just about dollars, you missed the point. This is a war, and the battlefield is your behavior. You've got to attack like your life is on the line, because in a way, it is. That life you want, the peace, the security, the yes to your kids instead of maybe later, it's on the other side of this battle, and no one's coming to save you. There is no hack, no handout, no miracle paycheck. There's just a guy in the mirror who needs to grow a spine and do the work. You've already tried it your way. The YOLO spending, the leased lifestyle, the financial cosplay. Has it worked? Are you thriving? Or just treading water while telling everyone you're fine? Here's the gut punch. Fine is the enemy. Fine is what keeps people stuck in $40,000 of credit card debt with a smile on their face and a car they can't afford. Fine is how you end up 50 and broke with a closet full of regrets. If you keep saying, "We're fine," one day you'll find out that you're not. And by then, the damage will be permanent. But if you draw a line today, right now, you can turn the whole thing around. Not overnight, not without pain, but with purpose, with intensity, with a fire that refuses to be average one day longer. The question is, do you want to feel good right now, or do you want to be free forever? Because freedom costs. You don't get to keep your habits, your justifications, or your secret Amazon addiction. You don't get to pretend anymore. You get to change, or you get to stay broke. Choose. Key takeaway: freedom begins with brutal honesty. The biggest barrier between you and financial peace is not your paycheck, not your spouse, not your past. It's your unwillingness to admit that you are the problem. Until you face that, nothing changes. Favorite quote: you are the problem with your money. Debunking the money myths that keep you broke. Debt is a drug. And just like any drug, the first hit feels amazing. You swipe, you buy, you feel powerful. But what nobody tells you is that behind that plastic buzz is a financial hangover that can last years or decades. And while you're out here getting dopamine hits from new shoes and brunch photos, your bank account's bleeding out like a patient in denial. Let's be clear. The idea that debt is a tool is one of the most successful lies ever sold to the modern world. It's been marketed better than Coca-Cola. It's been packaged with points, perks, cashback, and emotional manipulation so smooth that you don't even realize you're paying 20% interest to get 1.5% airline miles to go somewhere you can't afford. Genius. People defend their debt like it's a pet. It's just a car loan. My credit card gives me cash back. Student loans are good debt. No, they're not. There is no such thing as good debt. That's like calling diabetes a diet strategy. If debt were really a tool, then why is it the #1 reason people stress, fight, divorce, and drown? If a tool destroys your life, is it really a tool or is it a trap? Debt makes you look rich while keeping you poor. It's costume money. It's financial cosplay. You're walking around in a rented lifestyle, and the sad part is you don't even own the mask. Let's talk about how deep this illusion goes. The credit industry has trained you to worship a 3-digit number that literally means you're great at being in debt. Your credit score is not a sign of financial strength. It's a report card on how well you play the bank's game. If your entire adult life has revolved around building your credit, congrats. You've been performing tricks for the lending circus and calling it financial strategy. Now let's zoom in on the dumbest flex of them all. Car payments. You're driving a car that depreciates faster than your attention span just to feel like you're not falling behind the Joneses, who are also broke, by the way. You're paying $700 a month to look impressive at red lights. It's the slowest financial suicide in America. But you think it's normal because everyone else is doing it. Let me remind you, everyone else is broke. Student loans? Another big fat lie. You took out tens of thousands of dollars because someone told you that a college degree guarantees success. Except now you're 29, still renting, working in a field you don't even like, and you've got Sally Mae parked in your life like an abusive ex who won't leave. But education is an investment, yeah? Only if you get a return. Otherwise, it's just overpriced regret with a fancy frame. Here's where it gets more twisted. The myths don't stop at debt. We've also been fed a buffet of garbage about rich people. You've been taught to hate the wealthy, envy the wealthy, or assume they all inherited it or cheated. But what if I told you most millionaires, the real ones, not the flexing kind, got there by doing boring stuff consistently? They avoided debt. They lived on less. They invested wisely. They worked for decades. But none of that makes for a sexy Netflix doc, so you ignore it and chase get-rich-quick fantasy schemes that blow up the moment the wind shifts. You think the rich use debt to get richer? No. The rich use money, their own money. The broke borrow. The rich buy assets. The broke buy stuff. The rich earn interest. The broke pay it. It's not about being evil or greedy. It's about understanding that the secrets to building wealth aren't secrets at all. They're hiding in plain sight, right next to the boring discipline you've spent your entire life avoiding. The truth is, if you want to build wealth, you need to stop acting like you're auditioning for a music video and start acting like a grown adult who's tired of being broke. You know what kills most dreams? It's not failure. It's the slow erosion caused by believing you're doing something smart while actually sabotaging your future. Every time you finance a couch, lease a car, or swipe for something you can't pay off in full, you are voting to stay stuck. And you justify it because you think you found a loophole. But guess what? There are no loopholes in wealth building, only disciplines and distractions. So if you want to keep pretending your debt is manageable, your credit card is under control, and your lifestyle is justified because you deserve it, keep scrolling. But if you're tired of being a well-dressed, emotionally exhausted, debt-laden adult with a panic attack every time the rent's due, it's time to wake up. You were lied to, and now you know it. That's your power. So what do you do now? You delete the lies. You stop calling payments normal. You stop thinking a credit score is a badge of honor. You stop worshipping debt as a tool and start treating it like a disease, because it is. It spreads, it multiplies, it infects your peace, your freedom, your relationships. And it doesn't go away until you confront it with total violence and zero compromise. People love to say money is complicated. It's not. The truth is simple. You just don't like it. Live on less than you make. Avoid debt like it's radioactive. Save, invest, give, repeat for the next 30 years. Is that sexy? No, but neither is being broke at 60 with 2 jobs and a closet full of Amazon regrets. The world will keep selling you the lie. Your job is to stop buying it. Key takeaway: debt is not a tool, it's a trick. It's not helping you, it's owning you. The sooner you stop trying to outsmart the system with points, perks, and good debt illusions, the sooner you'll actually start building real wealth. Wealth comes from behavior, not cleverness. Discipline, not debt. Favorite quote: I have met with thousands of millionaires, and in almost every case, they keep their investing and money philosophies very uncomplicated. No more excuses, no more Joneses. If you've been broke for years and you're still out here acting surprised, I have to ask, are you in denial or are you just willfully stupid? Because at some point, ignorance stops being a tragedy and starts being a choice. Let's talk about the 2 massive walls sitting between you and financial freedom. The first one, it's you pretending not to know. I didn't grow up with this knowledge. No one taught me this stuff in school. I'm just bad with numbers. Look, that excuse might have worked in 2003, but it's 2025, and you've got a computer in your pocket more powerful than the tech that landed a man on the moon. You can stream 7 seasons of crime drama in 48 hours, but you can't figure out budgeting? No, you just don't want to. You don't want the discomfort, you don't want the guilt, and most of all, you don't want the accountability. But here's the wake-up call. Ignorance is only cute until it becomes expensive. Then it becomes self-inflicted injury. You are literally bleeding money from wounds you refuse to treat because you're scared of the scalpel. Now, let's talk about the second wall. It's not a thing, it's people. You call them friends, co-workers, cousins, or worse, influencers. But really, they're just the Joneses. And you've been trying to keep up with them like your life depends on it. Spoiler, the Joneses are broke too. They're leasing everything they own, stressed out of their minds, and you're using them as your financial North Star. You saw someone take a vacation to Greece on Instagram, and now you're financing a trip to Cancun you can't afford. You watched a 22-year-old buy a new Tesla, and now you're researching payment plans you shouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Their fake flexes have become your real liabilities. You are literally putting your future on hold because someone else is good at taking pictures in good lighting. And for what? To prove you're not poor? You know what proves that? Not being poor. This is why Ramsey says the Total Money Makeover doesn't start with a spreadsheet. It starts with a mindset. If you still think your image matters more than your peace, you're going to stay broke. You're going to keep making emotional purchases to fill financial insecurities. You're going to keep justifying debt with buzzwords like self-care, deserved, and YOLO. You don't need YOLO, you need YODO. You only die once, and if you die broke and stressed, that's on you. Let's talk about doing something that actually matters, saving a $1,000 emergency fund. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, that won't even cover a major crisis, let me ask you, how's $0 working out for you? This isn't about solving every emergency, it's about breaking the cycle, because right now, when life hits you, and it will hit you, you panic, you borrow, you drown. That $1,000 isn't a fortress, it's a mental shift. It's your first taste of power. It's your way of saying, I'm done reacting, I'm going to prepare. Don't overthink it. Don't make a spreadsheet. Don't open a new account. Just get the money. Sell your crap. work a weekend, deliver pizzas, cut cable, sell the second TV, cancel the gym membership you haven't used since February. You're not too broke to save. You're just too comfortable being broke. Ramsey says the fastest path to financial change starts with intensity, not convenience. Most of you are waiting to have a little extra before you start saving. Guess what? You'll never have extra until you start sacrificing. You can't wait for the budget fairy to come down and bless you with an ideal moment. That moment is now, and it's gonna suck. You're gonna have to go without. You're going to feel embarrassed. You're gonna feel like you're behind, and you are, but you can catch up if you stop playing and start moving. Your first $1,000 isn't about the money. It's about momentum. It's the break in the chain. It's the difference between feeling like you're always behind and realizing for the first time you're in control. Let me say that again louder. You're in control. That should scare you, but it should also excite the hell out of you, because if you got yourself into this mess, you can get yourself out. And you start by punching those two hurdles in the face: ignorance and comparison. You start by saying, I don't care what they're doing. I care where I'm going. You stop pretending you didn't know better. You stop calling broke normal. You don't need new furniture. You don't need a better car. You don't need to go out. You need $1,000 sitting in a bank account like a loaded weapon, aimed directly at the next crisis that dares show its face. So here's the deal. Either you stop making excuses and build that fund in the next 30 days, or you keep lying to yourself about how something always comes up. Something always comes up because you're always unprepared. That's the truth. And if that stings, good. Pain is a better motivator than comfort ever was. You've wasted enough time trying to look stable. Now it's time to become stable. Key takeaway: your excuses are just lies dressed up as reasons. You're not too broke to save $1,000. You're too lazy, too distracted, or too obsessed with looking rich. Kill the excuses. Kill the comparisons. Build your first wall of defense and take back control. Favorite quote: if you will live like no one else, later you can live like no one else. Kill the debt. Build the wall. You say you want to be free, but you're still feeding your debt like it's a pet. You're still clinging to your emergency fund like it's a polite idea, not a weapon. You keep talking about change, but acting like you're allergic to actual effort. And that right there is why you're stuck. It's not your income. It's not the economy. It's not your ex. It's the fact that you haven't turned your hatred for debt into action. You say you hate being broke, prove it. Because right now, all you're doing is having long emotional talks with your budget, while your debt is out here body slamming your dreams. Dave Ramsey introduces something here that isn't sexy, but it's deadly: the debt snowball. And it works, not because it's financially optimal on paper, but because it finally stops treating money like a spreadsheet and starts treating it like a fist fight. You don't win a war with perfect math, you win it with momentum, and the snowball gives you exactly that. Here's the punch: you list your debts from smallest to largest, not by interest rate, but by balance. You pay minimums on everything except the smallest. That one? You attack it like it insulted your mother. You cut your lifestyle to the bone. You sell crap. You work overtime. You deliver pizzas. You cancel everything, and you throw every spare dollar at it until it's dead. Then you take the money you were using on that debt and throw it on the next one. Then the next. It grows. It builds. That's the snowball. It gets bigger as it rolls, faster as you move, and the more it builds, the more fired up you get, until one day you wake up and realize you're not normal anymore. You're dangerous. You're free. But here's the part people miss. Debt isn't just numbers. It's emotional. It's shame. It's fear. It's lies. It's insecurity. It's the invisible chain around your ankle while you smile for pictures in front of stuff you don't even own. So when you start paying it off, you're not just winning financially, you're healing mentally. You're breaking chains. You're rebuilding dignity. That's why the snowball works. Because it hits you where it matters, in the heart, not the calculator. Now, once you've started crushing your debt, you've got to face the second half of the equation, finishing your emergency fund. And no, $1,000 was not the finish line. It was just the warm-up. The real emergency fund? That's 3 to 6 months of expenses sitting quietly in a savings account like a financial tank, ready to roll the moment life takes a swing at you. And don't you dare say that's a lot of money, because if you had a job loss, a hospital visit, or your car died today, you'd magically find a way to fund it with credit. So don't tell me it's impossible. Tell me the truth. You just haven't made it a priority yet. Let's be clear, this isn't optional. You are going to have emergencies. Your tires will blow. Your kid will get sick. Your job will change. Life doesn't care about your convenience. It's going to test your preparedness like a wrecking ball. And if you're not ready, you're going to crumble. Or worse, you'll go right back into debt and undo every bit of progress you made. That's not just dumb, that's self-sabotage with a payment plan. You need this fund not because you're scared, but because you're finally responsible. You're finally acting like a grown adult who doesn't outsource their chaos to a credit card. And the best part? When life does hit you, you handle it with cash, with calm, with swagger. You stop being the victim and start becoming a fortress. You don't prepare for emergencies because you're weak. You prepare because you're strong. You prepare because you refuse to go backward. And that's what separates the people who change for good from the ones who always circle the same drain. Debt is a prison, but most people serve a life sentence by choice because they keep renewing their lease on stupid. Every time you justify a car loan, a new credit card, or a temporary swipe to cover an unexpected expense, you are choosing the chains again. That's not an accident. That's financial Stockholm syndrome. But if you can start killing your debt with urgency, and if you can build that full emergency fund with intensity, then you've just constructed your financial firewall. Now you're protected. Now you're stable. Now you're free to start building something that lasts. The snowball isn't a game. It's a battle cry. The emergency fund isn't a cushion. It's a shield. Use them both like your life depends on it, because in some ways, it does. Key takeaway. Debt doesn't die with good intentions. It dies with action. Build the snowball, finish your emergency fund, and never again let an emergency drag you back into slavery. Favorite quote, debt is not a tool. It is a method to make banks wealthy, not you. Invest like a millionaire before you become one. You're planning to retire, right? That's the dream. You imagine sunsets and sangrias, not spam emails and social security checks. But let me ask you something most people are too scared to hear out loud. Are you actually on track for that dream? Or are you just hoping things work out? Because hope is not a strategy. It's a lazy excuse wrapped in fake optimism. The truth is, if your retirement plan is work till I die, or my kids will take care of me, you don't have a plan. You have a slow motion crisis. This is where most people go numb. They've handled their debt, maybe got a little emergency fund stacked, and now they think they've earned the right to chill. Wrong. That was the warm-up. Now the real game begins. This is where you stop playing defense and finally go on offense. And offense means building wealth, aggressively, intentionally, and unapologetically. If you're still stuck believing you'll just figure retirement out later, let's be blunt, later is now. And if you're waiting for some magical financial literacy fairy to float down with a 401k wand, you've already lost. Because the people who actually win, the ones who retire with dignity instead of desperation, don't rely on Wall Street roulette or flashy crypto schemes. They do something revolutionary. They save, they invest, and they do it consistently. Dave's play here isn't glamorous. It's not trendy. It's not complicated. That's exactly why it works. You put 15% of your household income into retirement every month. Before you see it, before you touch it, you automate it like a robot programmed to ignore your excuses. Roth IRA, 401k with a match. Whatever tools you've got, you max them out before you spend a dime on stuff that can't retire you. But what about college, you ask? Great question, and it reveals the trap most parents fall into. They want their kids to have everything, so they fund college and neglect their own retirement. That's called financial suicide in slow motion. Your kid can get a scholarship. Your kid can work. Your kid can even take a gap year and learn to hustle. You don't get a do-over at 65 when you're living off cat food and prayer. Take care of your future first so your kids don't end up taking care of you. Then there's the house. the holy grail of the middle-class lie. Everyone's obsessed with owning a home, but they treat a 30-year mortgage like a life sentence. Let me drop a bomb here. If you still have a mortgage after you've killed your debt and stacked your emergency fund, you're not done. You're just distracted. It's time to pay off the house, early, with intensity, because the moment you own your home outright, you unlock a level of freedom that 90% of your neighbors will never experience. And don't feed me the crap about good debt. That's just loser language wrapped in financial jargon. Good debt is an oxymoron invented by people who profit off your payments. There is nothing good about owing the bank hundreds of thousands of dollars over decades. Nothing. Paying off your home early isn't just about interest savings. It's about control. It's about sleeping better. It's about finally, truly owning something. Here's what this phase of the plan demands: maturity, discipline, the refusal to believe the lie that you'll always be in some form of debt, because you don't have to be. You can actually retire with wealth, send your kids to college without chaining them to student loans, and live in a house that's paid off, if you're willing to stop thinking like everyone else. You don't get there by being cute with money. You get there by being aggressive with your savings, brutal with your priorities, and allergic to mediocrity. The people who retire rich aren't always smarter. They just make fewer excuses. They aren't waiting for a better president, a better job, or a better economy. They take what they have and make it enough, month after month, year after year, until freedom isn't a fantasy, it's a line item. So stop scrolling through real estate apps like a daydream addict. Stop pretending your kid's college fund is more important than your own oxygen mask. And stop talking about retirement like it's something that magically happens to responsible adults. It's not automatic, it's earned. And you haven't earned it until you've prioritized it with your wallet. This is where you stop pretending and start building. Because freedom, real, lasting, you can't touch me kind of freedom, doesn't come with a credit limit. It comes with a plan. Key takeaway: you're not building wealth for the flex. You're doing it so your future self doesn't hate your current self. Invest now. Pay off the house. Secure your family. Nobody's coming to do it for you. Favorite quote: if you live like no one else, later you can live and give like no one else. Live like no one else. Think like no one else. You ever seen someone driving a brand new luxury car but still arguing with the cashier at Dollar Tree over expired coupons? Yeah, welcome to modern financial insanity. That's the same person who swears they're just building credit while their future self is quietly screaming from a cardboard box under a bridge. See, the end goal isn't to look rich, it's to stop faking it and finally be rich. Like actually rich. Like, I don't check my account before tipping 50% kind of rich. And guess what? That doesn't start with flexing. It starts with being weird. Because if you're doing what everyone else is doing, newsflash, you're broke. Statistically speaking, you're screwed. Dave Ramsey doesn't say that to be cute. He says it because most people are financially obese, living off junk habits, toxic beliefs, and microwave gratification. This part of the book throws gasoline on the lies and lights the match. At this stage in the process, you've paid off debt, built an emergency fund, started investing like a real adult, and now you're standing at the gates of actual wealth. You're not just putting out financial fires, you're building a bonfire your grandchildren will dance around. But here's where most people screw it up. They get comfortable, the credit card starts sneaking back in, the car upgrade starts making sense, and the budget, gone. Abducted, last seen in 2022. You start reverting because success makes people soft. But Ramsey reminds us this is the most dangerous stage because this is where legacy is built or lost. You've got to keep investing, not just 15% of your income into retirement. You need to look at wealth building like a war. You don't go halfway through a battle and stop swinging the sword. You finish. You push harder. Because building wealth isn't about you. It's about your kids, your community, your freedom. You don't want to retire rich. You want to live free and die empty. That means pouring money into retirement accounts, paying off your mortgage early, and staying debt-free like your life depends on it. Because it does. You want your kid to go to college without student loans? You want to take your spouse to Europe without having to worry about overdraft fees? You want to actually sleep at night instead of wondering how you're going to make next month's payments? Then stop being average. Start being intentional. Ramsey says wealth isn't the result of magic or privilege. It's the result of consistent, disciplined, boring behavior over a long time. That's why most people don't get it. It's not sexy, it's not shiny, it's just work. And here's the kicker, when you finally get there, when the bills are paid, the investments are growing, and the bank account isn't trying to assassinate your joy, don't apologize. Don't let broke friends guilt trip you into playing small. You earned this, you sacrificed for this. Let them laugh. You'll be the one laughing on your paid off porch. The world tells you to live in the moment. That's code for make dumb choices now and blame the government later. But when you live like no one else now, you get to live and give like no one else later. That's the actual freedom flex, not your leased BMW. Key takeaway. Being rich isn't the goal. Being free is. And freedom takes guts, grit, and long-term vision. Stop playing checkers in a chess world. Build wealth like your legacy depends on it, because it does. Favorite quote, if you will live like no one else, later you can live like no one else. Translation, suffer now, so you don't suffer forever. Conclusion, you made it. Or maybe you skipped ahead because you're addicted to shortcuts. Either way, if you've absorbed the Total Money Makeover, you're either sweating from the conviction or you're angry because the truth slapped you and didn't ask for permission. But here's the part nobody says out loud. You needed that slap. You needed someone to look you in the face and say, you're broke, you're lying to yourself, and your future looks like a landfill of bad decisions unless you wake the hell up. This book isn't cute. It's not motivational fluff or Instagram quote bait. It's a blueprint, a battle plan, and if you're still trying to find a way to keep your credit cards and your fake sense of financial security, congratulations, you've missed the point. Let's be clear, debt is not your friend. Student loans are not good debt. Your car is not an asset, and your credit score? It's just a measure of how well you play with the bank's toys. Stop worshipping your bondage. You want freedom? It starts by acting like your money problems are your fault, because they are. And that's good news, because it means you're the solution too. Ramsey's not asking you to become a billionaire. He's asking you to stop being average, to stop chasing likes while your net worth is gasping for air, to stop financing furniture you'll replace in 2 years, and instead build a legacy your grandkids won't have to escape from. This isn't a book, it's a mirror. Some of you won't like what you see. Good, change it. You've been sold comfort and it made you weak. You've been sold normal and it made you poor. Now do something different. Read this book again. Highlight the uncomfortable parts. Apply every step like your life depends on it, because it does. Take it seriously. Take yourself seriously. And then buy the dang book. Don't pirate it. Don't just watch videos and think you get it. Invest in the knowledge. Highlight it. Dog-ear the pages. Write in the margins. Let it punch you in the gut until your wallet starts healing. Because the truth is this, no, money doesn't buy happiness, but being broke doesn't buy anything. And if you keep living like everyone else, you'll keep getting what they've got, debt, stress, and regret. You want something different? Then it's time to stop escaping reality and start escaping average. Buy the book, do the work, build the life no one else gets to live. Because when you live like no one else now, later, you actually get to. Now hit that like button if this called you out, smash subscribe if you're done with excuses, and share this with the friend who's still financing a mattress over 5 years. They need this more than they need another latte. See you in the next one. Go get free.